We're here today at Buoy 10. I've been most of the morning out fishing with Austin, and I thought it might be neat to make a video and have him share with everybody and teach me as well the proper way, or a typical rig like we were using today as we were out fishing with herring today. So Austin, would you like to show him? I just want to mention Austin's our pro staffer. He has Austin's Northwest Adventures. How's that for a shameless plug, huh?
Yeah, there we go.
But he's one heck of a fisherman. He's fishing, you know, over 250, 260 days a year.
Yeah, probably more than that.
More than that on the water, and I think it's good if he could just take some time, and we're going to really dissect this down. So,
okay, so a lot of guys are running bumpers, and I've gotten away from running the bumper, which the bumper went in between your slider and your flasher, which is, this here's a fish flash. It's a Yakima bait product. These things work really well. They're great attractant. But the invention of this Yakima bait free sliding spreader has made it so that I don't have to have that bumper anymore. The angle of this is such that my lead doesn't come back and get into my my flasher, and so by not having that bumper on there, it makes it a lot easier to net fish.
So just to be clear, normally there's 24 inches between here and your flasher, right?
Yep, a lot of times you always have to go longer with your bumper than you do your dropper. That way you don't get your lead into your
But
flasher.
the reason you're getting rid of it, it's a little easier when you're netting a fish, and a lot less terminal hanging out there.
Exactly, and if you have 8 feet of gear out there, it's hard to net the fish sometimes and get them close enough to the boat. So I always start with this free sliding spreader. I have a rubber bead here to protect the knot. I got a good bearing swivel Sampo here with a clip, and then I use a 6-bead chain swivel here, and down here tangles can be issues, and everything spins at high rates of speed, and by having a lot of ball bearings and different swivels, it really helps a lot.
Okay.
So we go with the slider, and the next thing that I put on the line is going to be your flasher. This is a fish flash from Yakima Bait. It's a great little product. It also has Sampos on the front of it for spin. I like to use the dual locks on there to snap it together. And
so there's quite a bit of swivels. You've got a ball bearing swivel here, a 6-bead swivel, a duo snap, and then another ball bearing swivel.
Yep, I do. And then there's another ball bearing swivel on the bottom of that. And then we attach our leader from there. Now this is a 3-hook herring leader that I like to run when I'm running herring. Because we are barbless down here, 3 hooks tend to keep the fish on a little bit better for me.
What size are them that you like to run?
So these are 6/0, 4/0, 3/0. Now,
okay,
depending on the size of your herring, you could go different sizes. But I'm using big herring down here, so that's what I like to use. So I have another 6-bead chain swivel that goes on the top of the leader, and then that snaps into our clip.
So is this 30 or 40 pound?
I'm running 40-pound mono and 65-pound braid on my main line.
65 braid on the main line.
And 40-pound mono for my leaders.
And
so
about 3 foot on the leader on this?
This one's, yeah, about 3.5 feet is what I'm running right now. I change that depending on the water color. The turbidity of the water can always change that. The fish are attracted to the flasher, and then they see the bait behind it. So
sure.
As you can see, that has
so as
a
it's
lot
moving
of
through the
flash.
water column, it's flashing, and then you have your...
Then your herring's coming in behind it, spinning. So this is the last bit of the bait we had today. This is not a great sized herring for this, but it'll work just for the purposes of showing you guys how. So I take the bottom hook in the string, and this is the 3/0. I run it through the body like that. I pull it out the other side, being careful not to tear it. I take the second hook, I put it in the same hole, and then I put it in the body of the fish like that, and the third hook goes right here on one side, on the long side of the spine, and comes out the short side.
When I wrap behind the spine then with it?
I do, yep,
Okay.
and that helps to hold it on there. So then that sits there and spins for you when you're right behind your flasher.
So as this is going through the water column, let's see if we can kind of string it out here. And then you have that bait spinning, and you said today that you would like to see that spinning inside of a 2-inch tube.
Yeah, 2-inch tube, if you can make that happen, that's great.
Just
I try to
real
do that
tight.
with my anchovies too.
And then to keep it down, tell us about this big long bead chain.
Yeah, so I like this big long bead chain because it really helps to keep my tangles down. A lot of guys use mono right here. If that gets into your flasher, it just winds around the flasher. So when I have this bead chain here, if we do have some tangles, it's real easy to get it untangled.
Now some guys go directly to it, but you like yours so you can hit the bottom, right? And all this gear doesn't smack the bottom.
Exactly. We let this out till it hits the bottom and we reel up 2 turns. So that affords you a buffer to not get your flasher or your bait onto the bottom and either tear your bait off or get some kind of weeds on your line.
Let's let the weight down here and show them what this, okay, so this is what you're gonna look like. So you're gonna lower it down until this hits the bottom, and then you're gonna take it up 2 cranks, and that's gonna put you right there, anywhere from
a couple feet off the bottom.
2 to 3 foot, 1 to 3 feet range there off the bottom, right?
Yeah, and then we can spin this. And that will that gives you kind of an idea of what it's doing down there.
So there seems to be a lot of different fish flashes on the market, and I know you really like the Yakima brand. Is there a reason, or do you just find good success?
They got good ball bearings. They got a metal insert in there that it's like a grommet that they're just a good product. They're injection molded. They have a lot of different colors. It's a good product. Sure. I like them.
So tell me a little bit about if we wanted to switch over to anchovies. So I'm going to go ahead and take the herring off. And what changes? Does the leader length change, or do you keep it about the same?
Certain times of the year, yes, in different conditions, but right now I'm just running the same length leader. So you can just unsnap that and you can switch to an anchovy. This is an anchovy helmet. This is a crippled anchovy, and here's an anchovy that I've gotten cured. Makes it a little more shiny and a little tougher. Anchovies are notoriously soft in the belly. If you don't cure them a little bit, they'll blow out pretty easily. So you just insert the head like that. There's a little peg on the back side of it that you stick in the hole, and you gotta line it up with the other side, which is not easy sometimes, but I hit it right off the bat. So that goes in there. Then you take this little hook and you stick it in the lateral line of the fish, and I have this little hole here and it has a toothpick shoved in it. So you take that and you tension the line, and that puts a bend in the anchovy. If you can see that.
So you want a little bit of an arc in that.
That bend that you put in that anchovy makes it rotate in the water. So then your anchovy's spinning.
So all the toothpick's doing is giving some resistance against the fishing line, correct?
Yep, it's keeping the bend in the fish, basically.
I got you. And I noticed this one you're running a treble hook.
Yep, I like to run a treble there because you set it in the side of the fish so that you can get a bend in it. Then I have a single right at the tail there so that when they grab it, they get the hooks.
Awesome. Well, Austin, I can't thank you enough. I hope you guys really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to our next fishing trip. Thanks a lot.
It was good.